Hello and welcome to PSM Speak. Are the deposit rates, fixed deposit rates, FD rates in the banking, are they going to fall? Are they falling and are they going to come down further? It looks, yes, that's going to happen. You have observed some banks have already reduced their fixed deposit interest rates, and it is likely that they may fall further. And this affects whom? Particularly the senior citizens, the employed community, those who are not able to invest their money elsewhere but only trust the banks and deposit their money, get monthly return on that for their living. That will affect them, impact them. So why this is happening? The purpose of this video is to explain why this is likely. It is because of the recent monetary policy decision of the Reserve Bank of India. What did it do? It has reduced the repo rate, repurchase option. In simple terms, Reserve Bank of India has reduced the rate of interest on the money that it lends to the banks. The borrowing cost of the banks is coming down to that extent. To what extent? 25 basis points. What does it mean? 0.25 of 1%, 1/4 of a percent is coming down. Reserve Bank of India reduced. When Reserve Bank of India reduces the rates of interest on the money that it lends to the banking system, which means logically banks are getting cheaper funds. When they get funds cheap, what will they do? They can lend cheap. So the rates of interest on the banks' lendings our borrowings from the banks, the equated monthly installments of our borrowing, all these things are being talked, reported in the media that the housing loans, other loans, they are getting cheaper. Good that we are going to get cheap loans, all right, but banks borrow money, banks accept deposits, and banks lend. Banks charge on the money that they lend, that is the interest they collect from the borrowers from the banking system. And banks pay interest to depositors. The bank's profit, as we know, is the difference between its cost of funds, the deposit rates inclusive, and the interest it charges on the money it lends. So, when it is lending cheap, it also wants cheap funds. So, it reduces the rates of interest on the fixed deposits and other deposits it accepts from the public. So, the rates of interest are falling down. Will they fall further? I said yes. Why? Reserve Bank of India's forecast is that the inflation, it has linked the reduction of repo to the inflation. Inflation is coming down. As per its observation, the retail price inflation in 2024-25, 6 years low, and 2025-26 forecast, the consumer price inflation is expected to be at 4%, below the Reserve Bank of India's forecast earlier, which means because the inflation is coming down, to sustain the growth, to expand the economy, for which what is required? Investment in industry, commerce, services, for which expansion of credit. The banks have to do this. How will they do that? If they get cheap funds, they borrow and they extensively lend, through which growth is possible. That is the idea of the Reserve Bank of India. The policy implication is this. And if money is pumped into the economy, prices will go up, inflation will go up. But the inflation is under control, so you can lend more. So you can reduce the repo rate. Because this year it's going to be around 4%, then further reduction in repo rate. Reserve Bank of India's lending rate to the bank is likely to come down. After next 3 months, it may be another 0.25% or 25 basis points. Later, equal sum, another 0.25%. On the whole, during entire year, it could be 1% lower. And as and when Reserve Bank of India reduces its repo rate, banks are likely to reduce the rates of interest, including the deposit rates, the fixed deposit. Now, one question might arise in the lay person's mind, that the Reserve Bank of India and government data says that the inflation is coming down. In layman's understanding, prices are coming down. What is the experience? The common man thinks that let's take a lower middle class person or a middle class person. Is the rent I am paying every month, is it coming down? Is the expenditure or medical expenses, are they coming down? Is the money that I pay to the educational institutions, the school fees and all that, are they coming down? The prices of the clothes coming down? The experience is that they are not coming down. Maybe some vegetable prices coming down, food grains prices coming down. That's what Reserve Bank of India also say, that the prices of food grains, edibles coming down, and they are also part of the inflation index. The basket of goods, the aggregate prices of them, this is the mechanics of how the inflation index is built. So the prices of certain goods have come down, so the inflation has come down. From common man angle, the prices of some goods coming down is not going to affect the common man's economy, his or her economy. Then are the prices coming down? Though a bit technical, let us try to understand this. Lower inflation doesn't mean that the prices have fallen below the current level. Let's take one example. Supposing a particular good, last year its price has gone up by let's say 50%. It was 100 rupees before, and last year it has become 150. Now this year, if it is growing at the same rate, 50% of this 150 is 75 rupees and it should be 225 rupees. But that has not happened. Instead of 150, it has become 160 rupees or so. Then they calculate it. Instead of 50%, it has increased by, let's say, 3%, 4 or 5%, less than that. The rate at which it is increasing has fallen down, not the prices have fallen down. This we should understand. The rates were increasing last year also, before also. Let's say they were increasing using an elevator, escalator. Now also they are increasing. Instead of using an elevator and escalator, they are using the staircase, one step after other. They are increasing slowly, which means the rate is slower, not the prices have come down. That has not happened, that we should understand. When prices already reached to their peak, still they are increasing a little, still then people feel the pinch of it. If their incomes not increasing in tandem, the money in their hands. So here, these are the mechanics, the technicalities, the decisions of the Reserve Bank of India. To whatever effect whatever may be the implications, whatever may be the reasoning, the fixed deposit rates have fallen down or likely to fall down further. Thank you so much for so patiently watching this video. Please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already. That will encourage me to present to you more videos of this type and more frequently. Thank you.